Hello and welcome. We acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of the Inuit, the original inhabitants and stewards of this vast and beautiful territory, now known as Nunavut. We recognize the profound and enduring connection that the Inuit people have with the land, ice, and waters of this region. We honor the elders past and present who have preserved and passed down their rich cultural heritage, traditional knowledge, and values. We also acknowledge the resilience and strength of the Inuit communities who have thrived in this challenging Arctic environment for generations. As we gather on this land, we commit to listening, learning, and working collaboratively to foster understanding and respect for the Inuit way of life. May we strive for harmony and unity, recognizing the importance of preserving the cultural diversity and unique traditions that make Nunavut a special place for all who call it home. Welcome to this week's episode. Ted, welcome. How are you doing, man?
Thanks, man. I'm good. How are you, Ryan?
Very good. Ted, how old are you?
21, turning 22 in a few weeks.
What's life like as a 22-year-old after graduation?
Interesting, because I finally get to do whatever I want, anytime I want. Like, I could stay up or whatever, so it's pretty fun.
Do you have a routine, a daily routine? Well, first thing you wake up in the morning?
Check if Tyler texted me so I could go to work.
Where do you work?
QMS Middle School.
Oh, you traitor. You
Yeah.
left the high school to go work at the middle school.
First, I went to the elementary school after high school. Then I went to QMS right after that.
So Ted was one of our, he was one of my students. Do you remember taking any of my classes?
Yeah, I remember.
Man, all right. So we had I think a careers course, and
Yep, it was careers.
I think you were the only student who actually did their work the entire period. Excellent worker, and of course we wanted to hire him as soon as he graduated. We're big fans of Ted, and I'm happy you made it. So what's it like working over the middle school?
So different compared to high school.
What's your role there?
Whoever's not there, I just cover them. But the past week, I've been in 7th grade.
So let's pretend somebody has called in sick, and now you're filling in for a sick teacher. When you roll in, how much in advance do they give you your schedule, or what your duties are for the day?
There's already a plan. There's already a plan for the sub on the desk, so it's pretty simple. Most times it's good. It's pretty easy because of the plan they have for us.
How well are the plans? So at the high school, some of our colleagues, or at least some of the horror stories I've heard from our subs is that they sometimes the subs can be very unhappy with the plans that the teacher has left. What is your philosophy on sub plans? Is there a certain way you like to have them handed to you? Have you ever had a bad one?
No, not really, because most times, no matter what the plan is, I just do what I want with the kids. But
Yeah, you do know
Yeah.
best. And also another thing too, one of my questions is so first of all, there are some people, Inuit people, that struggle with English. How comfortable are you speaking English or hearing English?
I don't mind at all, because my mom's father was white, so
Oh, okay. And so when you speak to your students, do you speak in Inuktitut or English?
either, any which, but mostly Inuktitut.
Do you think that helps you as a teacher?
Yeah, I think so.
Easier to
A lot.
communicate?
Way easier.
Do you think, are there ever students that have a tough time communicating or listening in English?
Yeah, a lot of them. I think most of them, I'd say.
And also, alright, so there's times where I don't know what to do, whether it's I'm at a job or something, and I get really stressed out. And all of a sudden, I got this energy where, like, I have nowhere to, like, I want to get out of my seat, and I want to go do something where I'm comfortable. Do you think that happens to our students if a teacher is giving English instructions and the student doesn't understand them? Can that cause stress and for them to maybe misbehave?
Yeah, I saw that a lot in high school, and I also see that in middle school.
Eh. Do you, just as a question, do you have any strategies for teachers to combat that issue? Do we just have to learn Inuktitut?
I'm not sure, man. I don't know.
We probably should be learning a little bit of Inuktitut.
Yeah. Like
Maybe.
Richard
Yep, 100%. Oh, shout out Richard. I want to say his last name, but I don't know if I should. But Richard, you know who you are. You're a real one.
and Gord. You ever?
Oh,
were you
yeah.
here, Gord, when he was here or no?
Yes. Okay. So let's dive into those two people. Let's talk about a little bit. Let's dive into Richard. What made Richard such a good teacher?
Communicated with us with our own language, and
How well was he?
so well. Like he talked like an Inuk. I
Wow.
thought when I first got there, I didn't know at all, and I was so surprised when he was speaking our language to us, and it was so cool.
Did you ever try and sneak like a conversation in front of him and he caught on?
No.
Yeah, you're a good boy. There are some students who will say something in Inuktitut, and an SSA will be like, Ryan, don't repeat that, don't listen to them. But yes, that's amazing. Who are some of your role models?
Role models, my parents, of course.
And what are they like?
They're the absolute best human beings ever in my life. Like the whole time I was here, they're the two people I love most and I want to be like and I appreciate most. So I'd say both of my parents. They're both my idols. And there's people like Hyper T, late Kelly Fraser, Brian Takalik. Those are just Inuit artists.
What kind of artists?
Hyper T's a rapper, Kelly Fraser was a singer, and Brian Takalik was also a rapper, but I don't think he does that anymore.
Are there any specific principles or philosophies that you've adopted from any of these role models?
I don't know.
What about have your role models faced challenges?
Of course, they have knowing. I mean, Kelly Fraser, she always spoke against suicide, and how she died was because of it. Like she took her own life. Even after all those songs where she said she'll do anything to stop it, she will never ever do it. And like those were her own words in those songs.
Eh.
And then she did that.
How old was she?
29, I think.
Wow. Where was she living?
I think she was down south, but she's originally from Sanikilo, Nunavut.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we do typically bring. It's one of the hot topics we try and discuss. We try and figure out solutions. Suicide's huge here in Nunavut. Do you have any idea why that is?
I think there's a lot of reasons, and one of the main ones I think is I know is the generational trauma where our the people before us went to the residential schools and all
Right.
that,
Right.
and just dramatic big change from living by ourselves out on the land without any money or anything and no alcohol and stuff like that, where we're just happy and hunting our food, doing things with our family. Then all of a sudden the white man comes and then says, you gotta go here, you gotta do this, and then they just relocated us forcefully. So I think that things like that.
So yes, I agree, man. All right, so like I've heard some people say like, if we were to get to the root of the problem, which we need to, they say that we would have to go back 50 years, or we'd have to go back something that's impossible. There's no,
Yeah,
like, yeah. And so, how do we combat those issues in the present moment? So like we have to save the people around us. We have to be kind. We have to be gentle. Is there a way to sort of? Is that it? Maybe that's it. Do we just have to show love and sort of tend to the part of the garden that we can touch? If we can sort of be cool to the person next to us, we just have to be cool. Is that it?
I don't know, man. I don't think we could do anything about the damage anymore, because how are we gonna get our culture back? Like, it's
Eh,
just not possible.
eh. Would it? Would do you think it's possible for the Inuit to make a comeback? So it might not look the same as it once was, but if we start building now,
Come back to like where we came from.
or even just like be so strong and so resilient that no one's committing suicide. Everyone is thriving like they once were. Like something has happened caused by an external force. It was not the Inuit's fault. Something has happened. Can we get back to a functional society?
I mean, we definitely can if we try, but like,
Because like I see people like you. There's people like there's a lot of really successful people. How do we bring more people like you?
I don't know, man.
Like, what's your mentality when you wake up in the morning? Are you an angry person?
No, not at all.
How do you bring calmness to your mind?
Just do what I love. Just do what you love. That's the main thing. Just do the things that make you happy and just realize what you have around you, who you have, and stuff like that. Just
Yeah.
focus on the good things.
Yeah, let's focus on the good things. And let's talk a little bit about your family life. Let's get to know Ted's structure in his life. Can you describe your family structure, like your parents, your siblings, and maybe even your cousins, your extended family?
I have so many cousins, man.
Like let's Thanksgiving. What's Thanksgiving like?
It's been so different compared to the recent years after my parents' divorce, that separation, and my uncle Lenny, who always he was the one to put us all together at my grandparents, but he also committed suicide. Um,
Sorry to hear that.
no, that's good. But now I, we don't do that anymore. My family, my immediate family.
You guys don't get together for big events.
No.
How? So let's pretend that it is Thanksgiving. Do you spend it mostly by yourself?
With my girlfriend Whitney.
Ah, yes. Those you were. Did you guys both graduate at the same time?
Yeah, but I took 2 extra years at high school.
High school sweethearts. Emma. Can you share a few memorable moments or experiences from your family life?
There's a lot from when I was a child, in my childhood. I loved the times where we went out on the land and how we would go to my grandma's for Christmas. But before your question before that about my family, I have my dad, Robert, Marina's my mother, my eldest sibling Alice, and then David, me, then my younger sister, who's the youngest, Karina. You know Karina? She's in high school.
That's your sister?
Yep.
Wow. I do know Karina. Or how do you say it? Karina?
Karina.
Ah, Karina. Oh my gosh. It's such a small world. I know a lot of teachers have said this in the past. It's crazy. The once you're involved in a community, you realize where people belong. It's just mind blowing. What and who's so sorry? Karina's your sister?
Yeah. My sister.
Wow. What's your relationship like with your sister and your brothers?
Both my sisters, my older sister were like best friends. Best friends were she's the best, and my younger sister, a lot better than how we were when we were kids. My brother hated me my whole life, so not a big
What age? Where do you fit in? Middle, top,
I'm second youngest.
second youngest. How do you navigate conflicts within the family?
Wait, sorry again. Before not hate. My brother doesn't hate me. It's just how like.
Yep, the dynamics.
Yep.
Yes.
So what was the question again? I'm sorry.
How do you handle conflicts?
Like.
Let's say somebody does something that you don't approve of, or they take your sandwich out of the fridge, or someone does something that makes you upset.
I get a lot of that with my brother.
Classic brothers, eh?
Um, yeah, there's just a lot of things that I don't appreciate that he does, but we just, I don't know, it just goes away by itself. We just,
Over time,
yep.
you know that no one's going anywhere. You're just gonna let it peter out.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just the two of us now at my place, so.
Yeah. That is the best. Sometimes I feel like some people have this mentality of like they have a responsibility to themselves. They need to make sure that their life, their own individual life, is operating at the most euphoria. And if they're not having a great time, they just leave. They're like, see ya. But it's nice when somebody is mature, emotionally mature enough where they're like, I'm upset, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm just gonna hang out, let this peter out, and we'll continue from there. How are the responsibilities divided within your family? Do you have responsibilities?
It's mostly just me and Wit who does this shit at my place.
Busy all day.
Just the two of us.
Have you ever seen like? So I'm gonna make an analogy. Have you ever seen those construction workers? Do you make many trips out of this town?
Not really, but.
All right, so I'm gonna paint a picture. Let's pretend you're driving down the highway. All right, and there is a big long. There's construction going on. Big long line. You're like, why is it taking so long? And you drive like half an hour at 2 miles an hour, 2 kilometers an hour, and then you finally realize you get close enough to where the work is happening. There's one worker and 5 people taking a break on the side. Is that how your lifestyle works? There's a couple of workers and then a few people are just hanging out, kind of observing, safety net.
Yep.
They're like,
That's
watch
how
out for
it
the
is.
car.
That's how it is. Just the two of us doing everything and nothing out of the other.
What kind of responsibilities do you guys have? Like making dinner?
Yeah, that's one of the things. Make food, clean after our dog Dixie. Our fuel, our furnace doesn't work, so we have to like put the fuel in the can by ourselves. So
wait, what does that mean? Like you have to heat your own place with.
yeah, we own our house here. It's not owned by the housing, so it's we're homeowners.
Good for you. Congratulations, by the way. That's sweet.
The tank for the fuel where we get the fuel for the heat inside,
Yeah.
that doesn't work. So my dad years ago he built his own little jerry can and then connected it to the furnace. So we gotta put fuel in that little 5-gallon jerry can and then do the thing in the furnace by ourselves, like button and then unscrew the nut, and then the fuel starts going through. Then we gotta slowly put it back on.
Wow. How long does a 5-gallon jug of fuel last?
Maybe a day and a day and then one night.
How much does that cost?
$40.
Dang. How it's roughly for an entire month for you to heat your house? How much does it cost? That's gotta be a lot. 40 times 30. We can do this. Where's my phone? That's insane, man. Do you notice it? Does that upset you?
Yeah, we've been struggling with our house being cold like a few times or a few weeks this past year.
That's $1,200 a month.
We don't have that money. I can't afford that. So sometimes most times we have no heat. But I finally got this morning.
And then what about, so that's on top of, first of all, that's on top of your rent or your mortgage. And then we have northern prices we have to deal with.
Prices.
So northern prices, so first of all, northern is a location above the equator, and also northern is a store here in Nunavut. We have a store called Northern. However, it applies to our location as well. We live in the north. Basically, all of the stores in the north, including the store Northern, have extremely high prices. So let's try and budget your entire month. So we have 1,200 just for fuel, just to keep warm. That's just surviving. Then we have. Do you know how much your rent is?
No, that's my dad.
Yeah.
But he doesn't live with us though.
Yeah.
Last time I checked the balance for how much we have to pay was at 5K.
Wow. And then, wow. Okay, and then, do you know what your budget is for food?
Depends on what we have in the fridge.
Yeah.
But most times, like if it's something we really need, we buy groceries for like $400 to $600.
Yeah, and I think something that makes living in the north a little bit cheaper is if you're a hunter and you enjoy country food. And that is something I heard Ted doesn't like.
Well, yeah, I don't like some of them, and I'll eat
Like-
some of the others.
Yeah, all right, so let's talk about the ones that you don't like. What are some of the do you like beluga?
I don't like beluga.
Beluga.
I don't like mukdak. I don't like.
And what's muktak?
Beluga.
Oh, yeah.
Blubber.
Yeah. What about tulimak? Ribs?
Tuktu.
Tuk-tu ribs?
I like tuktu.
Eh.
All kinds of tuktu, but I don't really like nipku though. Dried caribou.
What about nipku with
Butter or
the nacho cheese?
No nipku at all. But
Nothing.
I like beef jerky though from the stores. But
Yeah,
they're so expensive though.
Yeah, way too expensive. Expensive beef jerky with nacho cheese.
No, just beef jerky.
Yeah. Okay. So that's interesting. So this is something. If you're hearing this in the South for the first time, beef jerky and nacho cheese is not something normal people will combine together. I came up here and someone introduced me to it. I'm telling everybody, you gotta try it, man. But that's not for Ted, eh?
Yeah.
Just a regular beef jerky kind of guy.
Yep.
With high school, all right. So I would say you're probably one of our protege students, and so let's try and get an aspect of what that looks like. What time would you wake up in the morning for high school?
For high school.
Yeah. So high school starts. What time does it start?
9.
9 o'clock. And that's when we serve breakfast.
Yep.
What time would you get there?
Most times all my life throughout elementary, middle school, and high school, I missed most of the morning classes.
Do you eat your own breakfast?
Growing up, not really. Sometimes maybe still like that, but this morning I did make my own breakfast.
And what'd you have?
Bacon, eggs, toast, and sausages.
In order to make that, what time do you have to wake up?
Maybe 8:30.
Wow.
But I got up at 8 this morning, and then started cooking at around 8:35. Finished 8:50, then 8.
Isn't that pretty nice? Like, I feel like this place is like we can roll out of bed 20 minutes before work
Yep.
and still make it to work on time. How do you get to work?
Walk.
Yeah. Does that ever make you upset?
Right now, yeah, 'cause my skidoo, my snowmobile, needs a new battery and solenoid.
Wait, say that again, sorry.
Solenoid, it's a part for the skidoo.
And first of all, screw-doos are super fun.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you like to go fast?
Sometimes maybe, but not really. It's just I just need it to go to places.
Yeah. Are you a hunter at all?
Not really, 'cause of how I grew up with my family. But Lenny, we talked about the guy earlier, my uncle, but caught 2 of my first caribou by him. He was the hunter of the family, so a few times I went out with him and with my friends. But I'm not the hunter you see with everyone else here. Like everybody else, they're real great hunters. All my friends and all those guys.
I feel like if you want to get a girlfriend here, you either have to be a hunter or a rapper.
I don't know about that.
How would you describe the attendance culture in our school?
The attendance.
Yeah. how often would you? So you're a prodigy student. How often would our prodigy student go to class?
Sorry, what does prodigy
Like
is?
top notch. You're our role model.
Me personally, I missed a lot. So, and I already told you I did 2 extra years of high school, and that's because of my attendance.
Oh, and
So
so if was anyone pushing you to go to school? Was it completely your own decision and how you felt in the moment?
at first, my parents were, and then after the separation, it was all up to me. So I just did whatever the heck I want anytime. So I kind of thought of dropping out of school at one point, but I'm happy I kept going because graduating is so much better than what I see from the people who didn't.
Emma, what factors do you think contribute to students not showing up?
Um, we like at night, they just go out, don't go home early enough, and I think a big part of that is PUBG.
Yeah, so PUBG is it an app?
Yep.
And it's a obviously addicting app. It's what do you call it? War? Yeah.
It's like battle royale.
Yeah. Did you ever play Call of Duty?
Yeah, I love Call of Duty.
100%. Oh man, so I know where they're coming from. I know because I remember in high school, spring break is 2 weeks. I didn't leave my room for 2 weeks. I had a free time. I had even brought in a buddy. I'm pretty sure we slept in our PJs. We had 2 monitors, 2 PlayStation 4s. This is back in the day. And yeah, Call of Duty is super fun. So obviously up here, we have students that come from traumatized families. They have that culture. They have late nights.
Yep.
And obviously, as you can see, things start taking a spin. Do we have any control over these things? Not really. Yeah, it just is how it is. And so if you're going to be a teacher coming up here, do you have any advice for the teachers? So for example, you have a goal. You have a goal for one of these students. It's to learn the curriculum. You're hired by this boss. They say you're hired to teach these students math 10. And then you sort of see that they're sleepy, they're not doing their stuff. At that point, what is the best case scenario for contributing to net positive? We don't want to be negative. Obviously, there's some teachers that will say, I'm going to do my job. I have a textbook. I'm going to yell at my students and they're going to learn it. And then there's some other teachers that take a different approach. What were some teachers that took an appropriate approach, in your opinion?
I think you gotta respect the students and let them come to you instead of you just barging into them, like telling them to do shit. Like, you gotta do this, even though they don't know what to do, and then they're just saying you gotta do this. They're not teaching them. They gotta know what they know and what they don't know, and teach the things they don't know. Like, you know what I mean?
100%. Do you think some of it's like even just partial? So, for example, some of the things that we don't have professionals that stay for long periods of time. Usually they're up and then they leave. But if they took an approach where they had a relationship with their students, so they kind of get a little bit of trust. So maybe we're not going to focus hard on the curriculum. Maybe we're going to focus on just basic routines, and we're going to focus majorly on how are you doing today? How are things? Things are okay? How are your studies? Is there anything I can do for you? Are those teachers making more progress?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay. That's a...
I heard one of the episodes of this podcast on YouTube, and you guys talked about this with Bailey. What's Bailey?
I honestly forget, but Bailey was on for one episode, yes.
But I agreed to what you said. You made a relationship with the student, and it got easier at school. Like, I think you went hunting with them.
Yeah.
And then after that, before that, he was like,
I think that may have been Omar's episode.
Oh yeah, Omar. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Omar was having troubles with a
Yep.
student,
And it
once
was him.
and he started realizing it. So that's actually something. So actually, I had a meeting with my university professor, and she was like, "Does anyone have a student that they once had troubles with, and after a while you realized that they were way more competent, they were way better off than you thought they were?" And I was like, I do. And I even explained the whole situation. She said, "Can you explain that student?" I was like, all right. So this student did have a lot of behavior problems, but once, and then she's like, "How did he turn out?" And I was like, he was extremely resourceful. Like, he got things done, and he was providing for his family. So, like, it is crazy. Once you sort of see who the person is behind the curtain, it can be pretty amazing. Have you noticed instances of students skipping class and hanging out in the hallways?
I think that's a huge problem. Like, there's a lot, especially at. No, sorry.
Was that ever you? Did you ever skip class?
Maybe middle school. First years of my high school.
Yeah.
But after I realized what could happen if I don't do what I did at that time, like I was getting too old to be in high school, so I got my shit together and tried.
Do you what are your thoughts on the do these students that hang out in the hallways? First of all, they don't want to go to a boring class. Some, or maybe even a class that they don't understand.
I think that's the main problem a lot of the time.
Yeah. So all right. So that's probably it. One of the problems that I have seen that can be an issue is safety. So historically, fire drill happens. Teachers say, our only goal is just to get outside. That's our only goal. So usually, if that's your only goal, it's going to be chaos. There's no real plan in place. There's no nothing. It's just sort of happening. And in my opinion, that was the plan because there was so many people hanging out in the hallways. There was people unsupervised. And so how do we make sure that the people that are unsupervised get out of the building? Well, first of all, you're going to have all your teachers sort of near the exits, ushering people out. That's really the only strategy. And so here I come. They've put Ryan as the head of health and safety, which I think they thought was sort of a minor role, which it is. No one really cares about health and safety. That's fire drill. Just get them out. Who cares? But here's what they failed to realize, is that I try my best to perfect whatever role I'm in. So now they give me the role of fire drills. All right, you're health and safety. You're in charge of the fire drills and all of these things happening. You're here to evaluate how well we do in our fire drills. So I created a rubric. Everything is timed. One of the things I've realized is the people that are A, slowing us down, and B, we don't even have, so if you're in a classroom, you have the teacher who is responsible for you. If you are outside of the classroom and no one has any idea that you're there, and there's a real fire, nobody knows that you're now responsible for yourself. Are you confident that you can follow the protocols by yourself without any instruction from your friends, your teachers, or anybody and so that's where the real risk comes from. So in the past, we have 3 minutes to get out of the building. In the past, we've had some students get out at 4 or 5 minutes. That's too slow. So in the past, in our documentation, we have simulated deaths. In the eyes of students, is that even a consideration? Are they even thinking of their safety?
I'm not sure, but I think the guys who are slow, I think they know it's just a drill. Like, all my life, the fire drills were just, like, none of them were by actual fires. So
Yeah, if it was a real fire, everyone's probably just sprinting out.
Yep.
You're probably right. What in your view could be done to enhance classroom engagement? Is there anything, maybe more fun games or technology? If you guys had laptops or freedom to sort of learn at your own pace.
The kids here, if they had laptops, I don't think they'd be working. I think they'd just be on like YouTube and
You might be right, man. 100%. That's something every teacher sort of fights for, is more technology in the classroom. But it might be abused here, eh? Do you think that's maybe one of the reasons we are a pen and paper school?
not sure, but maybe. Um, I think so.
How would you describe the overall atmosphere within the school?
Um, describe the atmosphere. For the students, I think it's just like, here again, like, I have to do this. I don't know what it is. The atmosphere, I don't know, man. For myself, I love the school. I love being in the building. I love.
How are exams? We're going through exams this week. Did you like your exams?
Not a big fan.
How did you study prior to your exams?
I should have more, but a little bit, yeah. I tried, but I wasn't the best.
Most people don't. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about. But you're our best student, and here's what I've realized. So you did a good job. You did a good job studying a little bit beforehand. I've realized that during exams, typically you're not supposed to be teaching during exams. Exams are sort of, did you understand all of the content that we covered throughout the year? Something that I've realized in none of it is I don't get a day off during exams. Exams, I'm teaching. It's just another day. So
Yep.
if you think you have a day off, think again. All right. And that's another thing too, is like a lot of the times teachers will think none of it is one of the hardest places, because we have to support our students, and we have absenteeism is one of our biggest problems. So if you have absentee, which is a huge problem, and so for example, a student's going to miss 3 out of 4 days, and then he's going to miss another 3 out of 4 days. It's going to come very so often. It's very hard. I forgot where I was going with this thought. Dang it.
We were on exams. We were talking about you helping out the kids at exams.
Yeah, what's really cool about this podcast, I'm just going to cut this out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna appear to be a genius, even though we're
You
so
mind?
far. Yeah, 100%. Do you want a cup? Yeah, 100%. What flavor?
It's Copenhagen.
Do you ever swallow by
No
accident?
way.
Yeah.
Accidentally, yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah. Do you throw up right away?
No, it's just noise the throat.
Yeah. One time, high school. Shout out Todd French. I had the worst experience. So like I said, I think in our discussion earlier, I hate tobacco. I hate the smell. I hate the flavor, but I love nicotine. High school football away game. One of my buddies, he's super cool. He's one of the coolest guys. Todd French. So he's like, hey man, you want a dip? And I was like, I don't dip. He's like, it's a pouch. So it was one of the baby.
Yeah, I love those pouches.
Yeah.
Like, it keeps the mouth clean.
Yes.
Yep.
So he sauced me one of those. I put it in, and a little bit got down my throat. Now, we had probably an hour left to drive to our destination, and immediately I started throwing up. And I was like, I gotta play a football game in 20. Like, I gotta start dressing up in like 20 minutes. This is insane. So, anyways, ever since that day, shout out Todd, I've not been down. But yeah, Copenhagen, shout out. That's some good stuff. What are your favorite sports to play and watch?
I love sports, man. My favorite to play is hockey. I like playing softball, soccer, badminton. I like basketball. I'm not the best at it, but I enjoy playing. And all the other sports we played during gym lab. PE.
Okay, so all right, PE. Do you like having rules, or do you like sort of having a free for all?
I like rules. I like both, but I'd rather like play with the whole class. Like With
some
Ted,
participation.
yep.
Do you ever get angry at the students that are sitting off to the side?
I don't like them at all.
Yeah, participate. Yeah, that's one thing that always is I always wonder is like, all right, if you're coming to school, what are you coming to school for?
Exactly.
Like once you walk through those doors, you should be buying in. But some people walk through those doors and they just disrupt, or they don't they just want to be on their own. It doesn't make any sense to me, but you know, it is what it is. I'm just here to tend to the part of the garden that I can touch. Do you have any favorite sports teams, or either locally or at a broader level?
Hockey, I've been a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs, but they can't win the cup. I could admit that myself, even though I'm a fan of them, but I love watching them. And I like watching basketball clips on TikTok and stuff like that, but I don't watch them regularly.
Do you hoop?
Not really, but I enjoy playing with my friends during the summer break
And
at the court.
do you what kind of games do you guys play? Will you play like
American 21.
do you ever play bump?
Yeah, I love bump,
Bump is a fun, fast-paced, good for your heart, eh?
but that was just from school.
Part of PE or just
Yep.
with your friends?
Part of PE at first with Andrew in middle school. We did a lot of shit, and with Ryan too. The other Ryan, the gym
Bauer.
teacher. Yeah, you know.
Shout
Bauer?
out. Yeah, he was. We were in the transition. I came the year that he was leaving.
There's been a lot of great teachers here,
Mm.
and you're one of them too. So
Bless up. I am not, but do you prefer team sports or individual sports?
team sports. I love team sports.
What do you like about team sports?
Just teamwork and
What's the best way to get camaraderie or chemistry within your team? Because you have to know where everyone is on the court.
practice together.
Yeah, a lot of practice.
A lot of practice.
How do you get the practice? Is it usually the coach's decision, or is there a leader that wants to put in extra practice on the side?
We've been having problems with having no coaches after bantams at hockey, so it hasn't been easy trying to build chemistry or do practices. So, but this year we have Gleason, our coach for PvP, and he's been doing a really great job at keeping us together and making us do stuff as a team.
Heck yeah. Does that happen very often where there's no coach?
There's no coaches at all in Arviat.
Wow, really?
There are coaches, but,
But
like
few.
comparing it to,
Where everyone has a coach.
yep,
Wow.
we have like the peewees and like ilan. There's age groups where they play at a certain time in the day, and most of them got no coaches, I think. And then at 9 p.m. the senior men's just play a game, and that's where I play.
Are there any fights?
Sometimes, yeah.
Who are the typical fighters? Is it the disciplined ones who are just pushed to their limits, or is it the wild cards?
A couple of wild cards.
Yeah.
The disciplined ones are pretty disciplined.
Yeah, and they're only asked to come out when they're needed.
Yeah.
Are there specific sports that are particularly popular in Arviat?
Growing up, it was a lot of hockey, a lot of softball, soccer too, but then basketball came, took over, and then volleyball. I think volleyball and basketball are the most popular right now.
There's every once in a while there's a community event. There's always something like badminton. Do you ever partake in badminton?
No.
No, yeah. How are your racket sports these days?
Sorry?
How are your racket sports, like tennis, ping pong?
Been a while since I played.
Mostly high school.
Yeah, it's just a school thing. Something
Yeah.
I enjoy at school.
Did you guys ever play battle pong? Battle.
I don't recognize the name.
So,
Doesn't ring a bell.
Back in was it middle school? I think it was middle school. We used to play our warm ups in this unit was ping pong, and because All right, so I went to school with some of the wildest boys. Shout out all the boys, like they're freaking awesome. One of the I'm pretty sure somebody stole this from somewhere. We didn't actually invent this game. It's called Battle Pong, where you play ping pong and the loser has to pull up their shirt over their face.
I know that from dropping, but they have a different name for it.
Yeah. That's a pretty fun game. I think all teenagers play that at some point. Yeah, let's hurt our friends. Are there regular events or tournaments in our? How do you say? Is it Arviat or Akviat?
Arviat.
How do you say it? Say it one more time.
Arviat.
Akviat.
Arviat. Yeah, it's pretty hard for the out of towners.
Kabluna.
Yeah. Like the word.
We say it all the same and it's wrong. Yes.
But before COVID, every year we had JLM. We're finally gonna get ours after 5 years or about 5 years, I think.
What is it?
JLM, John Lindell Memorial. It's a hockey tournament here in Arviat. It was always popular, but COVID ruined it and stopped us. Other than that, we had just that in Arviat.
All right, so let's dive into COVID slightly before we continue on with the sports. COVID really messed up a lot of things here. First of all, I think COVID messed up a lot of things everywhere, but especially the north. And surprisingly, I think I was hired 2 weeks before COVID started. So I moved up here to a brand new community. I had no idea where I was going, and then we're on lockdown. What was lockdown like for the average person here?
It was brutal.
You didn't like it?
No, because I went to Rankin for my last year of high school, or was supposed to be my last year.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I went there for 12th grade, and during my first semester, COVID hit, and then I couldn't go home. I couldn't go back home.
Interesting.
So it devastated me. They forced us to get the shots.
Who are you living with over there?
My mom's childhood best friend.
Nice of her. Heck yeah. And was your daily life affected by COVID, or
Big
did
time.
it? Yeah. What did your daily life look like?
I kind of became like the kids who plays PUBG all night. I got into that game myself. I still like it, but it's not. I don't think I'm definitely not like the guys who play all around the clock.
You're not addicted hardcore?
I was during COVID. Like that helped me.
Yeah. But
probably like everybody else, I got into TikTok.
Do you have like a mentality? Like, are you working towards something that will sort of discipline your play behavior? So like if like, are you motivated in some sort of aspect to not play PUBG as much as you once did? What are your goals for the future?
I think I still have to think about that, but
Do you think sports have a role?
I think I'm not that old, but I think I'm too old to go through that path now. Like they started very young, like go down south at 14. Like Jordan Tutu, he went to Brandon. He's originally from Rankin, but he went to Brandon at the age of 14 all by himself.
Wow.
So big changes, just to a lot of sacrifices. Lots of sacrifices.
Right. Have you ever seen the movie Invincible?
I don't think so.
All right, this is the football in me that I've grown to love. There's this movie called Invincible that features this guy named Vince Papali. It's a movie that takes place in the 70s. He's a bartender, but he plays pickup football, and he destroys. And I guess I guess if you want to be famous, no matter what it is, you have to be prepared and wait for an opportunity. This guy was prepared, and it just so happened, this never happens, the Philadelphia Eagles said, hey, we don't have enough players, we're going to have open tryouts to the public. And so this guy went to the open tryouts and destroyed. So maybe that's just partially it. Maybe you have the skills. Maybe you just gotta wait for your opportunity, and then hopefully that would be would that be something you're interested in? Is pursuing an athletic
If
career?
it was possible, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I agree. Even would this interest you? Even just like as a not an athlete, like being involved in the team. So like for example, I'm 150 pounds. Would I love to play in the NFL? Yes. Second option would be to be like a trainer, like a first aid trainer, or like something. 'Cause, man, you get in.
Just to be around the players.
Yes, man. You get around 50 of your best friends. That's your job. That sounds awesome. Is that something that would interest you?
Not really. I don't think so.
Yeah. What kind of work are you looking for in the future?
Not sure about that right now too. I like where I am. Substitute teachers at the schools.
Yeah. Can you share a bit about what life has been like for you since graduating?
A lot more free time. Making money more with these jobs. Much.
How do you spend your free time? Do you have certain things that you like to spend more time doing?
Right now, winter, all I do is play hockey at night and just like stay at home, play video games. I like playing the NHL.
Xbox, PS5,
PS4.
PS4. Yep, shout out. Let's go to housing crisis.
Housing crisis?
Yeah, is that, or should we spend more time in sports?
No, I'm good with anything. Huge problem. The housing crisis. Like, there's so many families.
What are some of the dynamics in some of your friends' houses? What have you seen? Are there large families living in one house?
There's a lot of that here, and there's
What are the primary challenges with living in a full house?
not enough rooms, obviously. That's the biggest thing. Like, too many people, too small house. Not even a house, too small apartment.
Yeah, let's give some of the people some quantity numbers. So, for example, what are the number of bedrooms that some of these houses will typically have?
Maybe 3,
3 bedrooms.
4 at most.
Yeah, let's say 3. 3 is a pretty good number. Most even have 2. So 2 or 3, maybe 4. Let's pretend 3. 3 bedrooms. Each bedroom can comfortably house how many people do you think?
I don't know. There's a lot of.
Like 2 people per bedroom?
Yeah.
That's like 6 people? Alright, so a 3-bedroom house, 6 people. That's probably max. How many people are typically living here in none of it in a 3-bedroom house?
I don't know. I think there's a lot of them where there's maybe 10 people in a house with 3 bedrooms. And
How would that even affect your sleep? Is everyone on the same sleep schedule?
I don't think so.
So if you're sleeping on the couch or you're sleeping on the wherever, there's a good strong probability that somebody else might not be sleeping. They might have the light on, they might have their music going. Does that cause sleep disruption to other people in the house if there's more than 6 people in a 3-bedroom house?
Yeah, I think so. With these kids, their family, like the guys who dropped out, they're up, and the kids who are in school wants to do that too. So I think they're just doing that. I think that's a problem.
I had one student, and honestly, he was one of my top students. He very someone just like you. If I say his name, you're probably gonna recognize. I don't want to say his name yet, but he was telling me that he lived in a house. In the basement is where his bed was, and the light in the basement didn't turn off. So he said his sleeps. He was always coming to school tired, and anytime that he wanted to sleep, of course I would just let him sleep. I wouldn't even try and wake him up, or if he wanted to go to we have this wellness room. Yes, and the wellness room. Did you find that a good thing for our school?
Mm-hmm.
The
I
wellness
think
room
it
is
really is, but for me, that wasn't really an option for us students before you guys came along.
really.
Mm.
Oh, did you ever? And I will say sometimes, did you ever see anyone abuse the wellness room? Like,
Yeah,
how do we say no to a student? So a student says, "Hey, can I go to wellness room?" "Oh, what do you want to go to wellness for?" And then say, "Oh, I'm tired." Can you say, "I'm not sending you to wellness because you played PUBG all night. We're gonna send you to wellness." Um, what are some of the main causes contributing to the housing crisis?
um, maybe all those people, no money to pay rent, no jobs to get money.
There's how many people are in this town? Do you know?
3,000 approximately.
And how many jobs are there? That's what I can't get a clear answer on. How many jobs do you think there are in this town?
Not much, like the stores.
Yeah, let's go through it. Let's go through it.
Cashiers,
How many stores do we have? We have the Northern, EPLS,
AC,
AC,
C store, part of Northern.
C store. The C store is like a half a store,
Yeah,
or maybe less. It's probably a quarter of a
we
store.
lost Coop.
Yeah. Shout out Old Co-op. And let's just say we have another 3 minor stores. Like we have like the it's sort of like a gift shop.
Kilo.
Yep, the Kilo, and I don't even know what else. But let's just add on another 2. So now we're at a total of 7 stores. Of those 7 stores, how many employees do you think we have? Let's just say there's 50 employees at each store.
Yeah.
50, 100, 200, 300, 350. We have 3,000 and we have 250. All right. What about the schools? How many does the schools employ us? Employs us approximately 50 employees per school.
But schools, they're like
Probably less, but
ila kablunaks mostly ila the
E,
teachers.
which we're trying to change. We need more Inuk, Inuit. But you're right. It is predominantly run by the
Not
wrong.
to say it's bad or anything. It's just
It could be, yes. If you're right, I agree with what you're saying. Like, if in the past, how it's been explained to me. As a Kabluna from somebody down south, I'm coming into someone else's community, and so I can't be the one to say, "Hey, this is how things are gonna go. You guys are gonna follow my direction." It has to be. I'm a guest here, and I'm here to help you. And so whoever is in charge, whoever is the influencer, is maybe Ted. Ted's gonna be the guy. Hey, I'm from here. This is what needs to happen, and now we're here to help that person. But if we want to make any change, it can't be a authority. Say, I'm here to make change. You listen to me, boy. So, anyways, relationships first. We got to make those things work. How has the housing crisis personally affected you?
I'm good my whole life because we've always had our house, my dad's house, but he left, got a new apartment with his girlfriend and 12 of their children. So it's
Do you say 12?
2.
2. Oh, okay. What initiatives are currently in place from the government of none of it to address the housing crisis? Are there any? Do we have any support here?
I have no idea.
So first of all, you have to understand, this is the coldest environment to live in Canada, the most expensive, and there's no jobs.
0.
Yes. Good luck. We need more help from somebody. Are there specific challenges relating to housing that affect students and even maybe workers? Do we have any teachers in a crazy housing situation?
I think teachers are lucky because there's government units where the government offers if you work at these certain jobs, like the schools.
Right. There's like different sections to this town. There's government, homeowners, Is that it? Is there only two?
Now housing, um, it's a company housing. They build houses and the people rent the houses and the apartments. They make apartments.
Eh. Yeah, do you think that would help? Maybe if we all of a sudden, if we just invested in 5,000 homes, that would probably last us way too long. That would probably last us 20 years. But if we had invested in those 5,000 homes, maybe even cheap homes, like maybe even like the mini homes, those container homes, or even 3D printed. 3D printed, there's no waste, which is awesome. Do you think that would help us at all in the north? If we just had extra housing?
Here, I think anything at all would help.
Yes. Oh, I like that mentality. Let's just start doing things. Are you a hunter? Or do you know anything about hunting?
A little bit. I like hunting, but I don't have anyone
You
that could guide me. I don't have
is everything self-learned?
You have like your grandparents and your family that you go with growing up, and then they teach you. But I never got that.
Mo. Do you have a rifle?
Just a shotgun and 22.
Do you go with anybody or do you go by yourself?
Shotgun, I go during the spring geese hunting. I love geese hunting.
Yeah.
That by myself, I love going out with my friends.
How is hunting culturally significant in Arviat?
Oh man,
I'm trying, man.
that's good. It's part of who we are. So it's, I would say, the most important thing we have here. Like hunting is where everyone goes out to how to say this, like it helps themselves, and it also helps the family where we get food. They go out there to calm themselves. They take things off their minds. It's what we absolutely love. It's what we're here for, and it's something because of that we are here. We've always been hunters, hunted our food. That's how we lived, and that's how we still live, with just changes.
Have you gone hunting and gotten cold?
Yeah, very cold. I like frostbites, my nose, my cheeks, couldn't feel my legs. that time I went with my friends. Like,
How long do you go out for? So what time do you wake up in the morning to go hunting?
very early, like 6 in the morning, maybe like 5.
And then
ready.
you're taking off at what time?
As soon as you can, like before, the night before, you gotta pack up your shit. Like the main things that gotta take
Like
time.
what? So you need a GPS? Does everyone take a GPS? Do you take a GPS?
No, I'm not that kind of a hunter. I can't even afford that.
Okay, so first of all, we have to think, or we have to let our audience know, we're living in a dangerous environment. The environment is trying to kill you 9 months of the year. It's crazy here. And then now we're saying, go hunt. So first of all, you wake up at 6 in the morning. You have no GPS. Do you pay attention to the weather?
You gotta pay attention to the weather.
How fast can it turn on you? Like, are you looking on the internet, or are you looking observationally?
Me personally, I don't know. I'm not, as I already said, I'm not that kind of a hunter. It's something that I want to learn. It's something like the geese hunting and stuff like that. I enjoy. I'd want to become a hunter like everybody else here.
What's your next gun you're gonna get?
No idea.
Yeah, a 50 cal, something
No,
big.
not 50 caliber. That would ruin the meat.
Yes, you're smart. Is that the goal, to use the smallest caliber to kill the animal?
I'm not sure, man.
Yeah, me either. But you're the best bet to ask. But we're in the same boat.
Yep.
What are some of the types of game that are commonly hunted in this region?
Caribou, belugas, geese, ptarmigans, fish, Some people eat polar bears.
Do you eat polar bear?
I've tried before.
You
Not a
like?
fan. Nope.
What do you, are you? So okay, are you scared of polar bear?
Who's not?
Yeah, it seems like it would taste so much better if you were terrified of a monster. Wow. Okay, fair enough. What did it taste like?
I don't remember. This was like
Yeah.
4 years ago.
You just didn't
maybe.
care for it. Nothing.
I tried a lot of new meat in Rankin because the family I was staying at, they're great hunters. They're the best.
Mm.
They have everything compared to me.
If you run into a polar bear, do you have any strategies on how? What's your protocol? Do you have a protocol?
No, but if you came across one, the best thing you could do is kill it. If you have
Like
if you had the gun or anything,
no gun. Let's say you're a teacher walking to school.
you're dead. You're
Yeah. What do you mean? There's no Coca-Cola commercial? There's no cute bear at the top of the mountain?
In reality, they're not cute. They're monsters. They want to kill you.
Yeah. Yes. Every single time. There's no chance. How do factors like climate change impact hunting in this region? First of all, do we see a difference in polar bears around town, different times of the year? Like right now it's January. Are there polar bears around right now?
Maybe, but during the fall, it's everywhere near town.
There's always a Facebook status somewhere.
Every day, everywhere.
It sort of peters out around December.
Maybe, but they're still around.
Yes. There's just not as much. I see. Do you see a continued interest in hunting among the youth in this community?
Definitely.
Do you think this could ever be a course? So first of all, if we have absenteeism as a major problem, and speaking English as a major problem, but we have an Inuktitut instructor who speaks Inuktitut teaching hunting, do you think we would get more students showing up? Or now they want to
like at school.
Like let's say we had a hunting program.
There is a hunting program, Young Hunters.
Let's pretend that you get a grade at school. So this is now
like part of the.
Yes, you can boost up your GPA by taking this class. You come to class every single day. You had 0 going into you didn't go to your math class. You didn't go to your science class. You didn't go to your socials class. You had 0. But now we're offering this hunting class. Do you think we would get any increase?
If that was here, everybody would graduate.
Honestly, okay, realistically, if somebody can avoid the Kabluna curriculum and they can hunt and they can survive, what do they even need school in the first place for? Like maybe we just skip the curriculum and we just focus on the important things like building relationship. Let's have fun and let's learn about the things that are important to you. Hunting. Are there other things that we should right now? Those are probably our 3 most important. Are there any other things that we could potentially add? Rapping? Let's add rapping in there. Let's talk a little bit about the Hondas and snowmobiles. What's your mode of transportation?
Hondas and Skidoos.
Hondas and Skidoos, 100%. How are ATVs and snowmobiles used differently in summer and the winter? Do they serve different purposes?
Yeah, we can't use the snowmobiles in the summer. Like, there's no snow to use.
At what point do we put the ATV away? Because what's the point of even putting the ATV away in the wintertime?
Because it gets too cold, and if you use the Hondas during the winter, it's gonna ruin the engine. So it's not gonna last too long if you use it.
Have you heard some of the engines around town? Whether it's like, yeah, that's not enough oil, too cold.
Mm.
Yes, low. And I've even heard of some people, they will put a block heater in their ATV Honda, and this will help keep the oil warm. Have you ever had any experience with a block heater?
No, I've never really got.
Yeah, do you have any idea if they actually work, or if they're
No idea, man.
man, just go for the snowmobile. At a certain time of the year, just cut it off.
Yep.
Don't take any chances. Are there specific features or accessories that are essential for northern climates? What sort of thing? So if you're gonna go on a long day, a long event, what sort of things are you bringing with you?
Like, what do I have on?
Yes.
Obviously, you need your clothing, and then on top of that, winter.
What kind of clothing? Do you do the tight clothes first layer?
First layer, any kind of clothing.
Any kind of clothing? Long johns, Under Armour, or like sweatpants, pajamas,
I have a lot of sweatpants, so I'd say
Yeah.
sweatpants, and then you have your
socks.
Yeah, socks.
Thick?
You need socks.
How thick are your socks?
Right now?
Yeah, or like you're gonna go out for the day. Let's say
Oh.
you're gonna spend 5 hours in the Arctic.
If
At
you,
least 5 hours.
if you have the right boots, doesn't matter what kind of socks you have on.
Okay, interesting. What kind of boots? Where do you buy your boots from? Walmart, Mark's Workwear House, Special, Northern Place.
I got mine from here at Lumber.
How much did they run you? Probably lumber costed a little bit, eh?
Almost $200 for my
Yeah.
boots.
Yep, fair. Those are probably pretty good at least. They'll last you a few years.
They're gnats, like they're pretty light. They're not. They're kind of thin, so not ideal for this weather when you're going out on the land. So it's something I use in town.
Yeah.
So you need those boots, kalaroks, which are wind pants, a hoodie, or a jacket, and then a yapa. The jackets where we have the furs.
The fur makes a huge difference, eh? I've noticed, like, first of all, the fur's not magic. It's not like you put it over your face and all of a sudden the wind's just not there. It's not like it's just diverting it. However, you compare the two hoodies available. You have the natural, just the Kabluna from down south, just the regular, just flop it over your head. The wind that you get in the face, even if it's from a 45-degree angle, is basically right on your face. You put on the yapa, the with the fur around the edge. Of course, if you get blown with wind straight on, it's gonna hit your face for sure. But if you just turn a slight 45-degree angle, it gets dispersed. So the Inuit, right off the bat, we're on to something with that yapa, man. How much do yapas cost to buy up here? Let's say you're a Kabluna, you have somebody coming up here as a teacher, and they want to buy one. How much is it going to run them?
Depends on if it's brand new, and it depends on the person you're buying from. It could range from maybe like 200 to 600, but there's ones where they cost like $1,000 just because of what you need. The person who sews them what they need, what time they took to make it. I think it all depends on that.
All right, let's talk a little bit over rapping here, Ted. Who are your main inspirations in the world of rap?
Biggie Smalls, the Notorious B.I.G., Eminem, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar.
Who would you say is your favorite rapper these days?
J. Cole, definitely. I like R.A. the Rugged Man.
How has J. Cole made an impact on you?
Greatly. I love the guy. Everything he does, it's just I love what he's doing and what he's done.
Yeah, yeah. He does it all, eh? Like
Mm-hmm.
he's so. I've just seen clip. What I love about it, sometimes I'll just like looking up a YouTube video, just J Cole. How does he produce his music? How does he do his stuff? He will hang out in his bus and just produce music and just like simple beats, and then he starts rapping over it, and then he starts creating and like editing and doing all this cool stuff. He's a one-stop shop. When it comes to your rapping, what's your sort of process? Do you have a favorite song of your history?
Yep. Uh, One of my last songs I made, it's called Psychos. I'm just talk. It's just a song where I talk about the struggles of like what we're dealing with weed and alcohol and how they're not in school and just stuff like that.
Yep,
It's just
big time. How do you get your motivation, inspiration? Where do you get this content from?
I get a lot of my motivation from the guy who I work with, which is Luti, and unfortunately he can't come here right now because he's in Winnipeg.
Yeah, this will be the intro episode. We will have Luti on eventually. Yeah, you two are good buddies, and man, I would say that you two are running this town in the rap community. What is your writing process like when creating rap lyrics?
Most times when it's Luti's song, I just stay right beside him and then listen to the beat and see what he's got on, and then what topic he's talking about, and then I just go from that. I just write after I see how it is with the song.
Do you will you study other people's like rhyme scheme, or like do you try and learn other people's raps, or do you completely have a complete understanding and you sort of just try and figure it out?
Yeah, I just go with what comes out at the moment where we're creating.
How is the local rap scene in Arviat?
It's not big. It's not something that everyone is into. There's a few from here I could name, like LJ and Chris Jr. There's Philip, Jacob, Luti.
There was an event last year. I recognize some of those names. How often do those people perform?
Not very much, but Philip Jacob is part of Hitmakers, his label, so he gets these opportunities where he's on tour right now.
What? Okay, say this guy's name again.
Jacob Okachia.
Wow, and you're friends with him, hey?
Yeah, we're close. We grew up together, like in school, but like when it came to this, we got so much closer because of what we do. But for me, it's just something that I enjoy doing and listening to. It's not something that I think I will go with in my life. Like I don't think or I don't know. It's just something I enjoy.
Yeah,
It's just for
man.
the fun of it.
One of my favorite rappers, Classified. He didn't really.
Mm.
I don't think he really got known until he was like 28.
Mm.
You're so young, Ted, yo, and you're also doing really good for your age. I think you got talent, man. You got tons of room to run with. Whatever you want to do in life, man, I think you can do it.
Thanks, man.
Have you ever been involved in community events or performances related to rap?
Yeah, we were in school when we came for that Halloween assembly where we performed. There's that. There used to be IMF, Inuk Music Festival. We got into that. And I was invited to Baker Lake for the festival by the lake, but I couldn't make it.
When was this?
August of last year.
Wow. Would if they
Or
invited
September, sorry. It was September.
if they invited you again this year, would you go?
Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah, big time. How much is so? Arviat is one of the most southern communities.
It is the most southern.
Where's Baker in relation to us?
Baker is
More north?
at the center of like the geographical center of Canada, so it's like
How much money is it to get there from here?
like 900 books returned. It's not.
That's not bad. Yeah, reasonable. Are there elements of your background that have consciously been incorporated into your lyrics?
Yeah.
Like, how do you write your lyrics? What's your process? Do you have to constantly write them ideas down into a book of some sort?
Yeah. I use an app on my phone. I just again with Luti, it's always what he has. So I gotta. I love doing that most where he already has a song and he's already talking about something, and I just hop in where I know what I have to write about, and I just start writing. But when it comes to my own, I just have a couple, and they're all basically the same, talking about the same stuff. It's just um
When you have an idea of what you want to rap about, like, so for example, if you're working with Luti, does it sort of take a collective mind? So, like, sort of two people are working on a project, and we sort of have an idea of where each other are in the project. And so, if this person is over here, you're like, okay, that's where they are. That means I have to go in this area.
yeah, it's always like that. We gotta work together. We help
Yeah.
with our lyrics, like see what works best. Like if we say this a certain way, maybe we could make it better by changing a few words. But
What challenges have you faced in pursuing a passion for rap?
for me, no equipment.
That's probably so what was your step one here? Was it pen and paper?
Yep, man, Chris, we started with that, and then we had a speaker and our phone. We used either of our phones where we used the beat, and then used the other phone to record. Like there was no microphones, no laptops, nothing. It was just our speaker and the phone. So it was the quality was bad, and it's we find the beat, we put it on FL Studio. We use that
Whoa. Okay, so you use a Windows PC.
PC.
Okay.
Um, put the beat on. We write. Luti does his part, and then mixes it, master, all that, and then I do my part.
And with when you're writing, how long is that piece supposed to be? Is it like 16 bars, 32 bars, or like a certain time limit?
It's never the same for us, but
It's sort of you guys literally take it piece by
eh,
piece.
yep.
Wow. That that seems extremely difficult, but also at the same time more worth it.
Mm.
Interesting. Okay, 100%. I see where you're coming from. How does the energy of a live audience impact your performance?
Um, when like they're not into it very much, it's not as easy as them like being part of us when we're doing it.
Like, once they know your song and you perform it live and they're with you performing it live, yo, that's got to be one of the coolest feelings. I know a ton of people. I literally put your song on all the time in classrooms, and people are singing it left, right, and center. So, 100%. I am very jealous. That's got to seem like a very cool time. How do you balance your passion for rap with other responsibilities in your life?
Lately it's been the things that I have to do, so I haven't really been into it. A lot of the music, I haven't been recording, I haven't been writing. It's something I love doing, but I just don't have the, as I said, the equipment. I don't have the time right now, and Luti's been too busy.
Ludi.
It's always him.
Yeah.
There's no me without Luti.
Emma. What advice would you give to aspiring rappers who are just starting on their creative journey?
Don't listen to the haters, because there's a lot of them where they're just saying it's impossible for us, because it pretty much is. Like, it isn't, but it's not something that you just randomly get anytime you want. Like, you gotta work. You gotta practice your way up, freestyle anytime you could, like write every day, everything you could, even if it isn't something that you'll put out, just practice on it. Just do what you gotta do.
This is my last question, Ted Thompson. How do you stay motivated?
As far as
You have a crazy lifestyle. First of all, no matter what system you're thrown into, you excel. And not only that, you're looking to perform at a next level. You're trying this rapping game out, which is extremely difficult, and you're extremely successful at it. How do you stay at the top of your game? There's tons of people around you, not even close.
self-love and loving what you do, like and motivation also comes from my family and the friends around me, and just what I want to become and what I want to do. Like I look at um a lot of my motivation comes from Luti because he's the one who put me on. Like Chris, I can't take credit away from Chris and Philip too. Like they're as important to me as Luti is. We're just too busy right now with Chris being in school in Ottawa. Philip's doing his own thing with Hitmakers, so Luti's the one who is here for me because he's here too. He's not doing school. He's not part of a label where he's controlled and like, you know what I mean?
Yep. Who are there any cool inspirations, new upcoming rappers that you're a big fan of at the moment? You want to give a shout out?
I want to shout out Hyper T and LJ. Those guys. Hyper T also helped and helps me a lot. He's in Ottawa. He's an Inuk rapper, and he's the one who put Nunavut on the map in the first place. He's our pioneer. Like he's the man. Hyper T is the man.
All right, thank you, Ted. I think that we're gonna wrap it up. That was a great episode. Thank you for coming on, man. I really
Thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
me, man.
Yes, we'll have you on again. Hopefully, we can get you and Luti on, and maybe a few of those other boys on. Yeah, you guys are running this town, and we appreciate everything you do. Thank you, Ted Thompson.
Awesome.